So the Prime Minister, the speech is over. It was a 45 minutes address. And now if the camera could zoom in and show that, you can see the Prime Minister on that open jeep, as he had said that he will be, trying to interact with the members of the Indian diaspora personally. So in that open jeep, the Prime Minister can be seen. He is now waving at the diaspora, and he will be taking a complete tour of this stadium. The big takeaway certainly was a massive outreach to southern India. He began his speech with the one-liners in 4 southern languages: Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, because he understands that in UAE there is a huge presence of people coming from southern states of India. We have interacted with those from Tamil Nadu, from Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka. So Prime Minister Modi there now interacting with the diaspora. He had said that this is history in making. So certainly this is history, Vishnu, that we are witnessing. This is the biggest diaspora event that the Prime Minister has attended to in the Middle East. And it is, the fact that it was organized in a stadium, it makes it even more special perhaps. The Indian community here is very, very robust, and we could hear those chants of Prime Minister Modi every now and then. And he also made those promises, and he made this about Prime Minister Modi's guarantee, where he said that in his third term, where he said that I will return as the Prime Minister again, and in my third term I will ensure that all those promises that have been remained that I have made, which will be fulfilled. So the Prime Minister there, those visuals coming in of waving at the Indian diaspora as this diaspora event comes to an end. These are ambassadors, which the Prime Minister says rightly. These are the Indian community members who will be carrying forward the message to their family members. And I will ask the camera to zoom in and show the Prime Minister again, and the response that he is getting from the crowd. There's a lot of cheer that can be heard from the crowd. The big takeaway from the Prime Minister's speech, I would say, also was what he said has been a very strong culture, people-to-people ties, and of course the investment ties between the two countries, and how it has been redefined and reimagined in the last 10 years of Prime Minister Modi, and of course Mohammed bin Zayed, who is the president of UAE. The presence of the Harmony Minister also becomes important here, because the messaging is of harmony. The messaging is of the Prime Minister attempting to speak in Arabic, and also saying at the same time that there are several words which have been borrowed in Hindi from Arabic. Be it Urdu words like kitab, which is about a book, or a pen, or a kalam, as they say in terms of a pen. So certainly those big efforts that have been made by the Prime Minister in that messaging that came from the dais here. It's an end of day one, which has been a mix of bilateral events, bilateral meetings, which was about trade. Prime Minister also highlighting how the trade partnership between India and UAE has increased multifold, and now UAE is the third largest business partner of India. So it is a message in the run-up to elections, and I clearly see this as more of an outreach to southern India, which Prime Minister has done from here in UAE, similar to what he has done in the past when the elections were in Bengal. We saw Prime Minister go across the border and do an event in Bangladesh. So that was an outreach to the Matuas, an important community in Bangladesh, in Bengal. And now we are seeing this message that is going from Ahlan Modi, from this venue in Abu Dhabi to the South Indian community, which will be carrying forward that message back home, communicating what the Prime Minister said has been achievements of his government and what he will be doing if he is voted to power again.
And Maria, this has been an interesting day. There's been so much that the Prime Minister has done. It's been a day when India and the United Arab Emirates have signed several bilateral agreements and memoranda of agreement.
Yes, that's right, Vishnu. Several bilateral agreements, in terms of understanding which has been reached in fintech companies, energy security and cyber security space. So certainly there is that aspect that yes, it may be about optics, it may be about sending a message to the domestic audience, but it is also about sending a message that when Prime Minister is here, it's about business as well. SEPA, if you remember, Vishnu, the trade agreement which was signed between India and UAE, which is economic partnership agreement, comprehensive economic partnership agreement, which was signed in 2022 in the midst of the COVID. It was signed in record 88 days, and then it was ensured that that there has been a regular follow-up on that, and also a follow-up on the economic corridor, so which is being seen as perhaps an alternative to the belt corridor of China. So certainly this is an understanding that the two countries can ensure cooperation on multiple fronts, and the Prime Minister during that bilateral cooperation, bilateral meeting, and the statement that came out clearly talked about the education aspect, which is again a point of great understanding between the two countries. And also he said that CBSE will be opening a center here in UAE. Tomorrow he'll also be visiting the IIT, which has been set up here by the Education Ministry of India, besides the big temple inauguration ceremony. Interestingly, he also said that when he proposed in 2019 to Mohammed bin Zayed that he was keen on setting up a temple here, Mohammed bin Zayed said that you can spot any land in UAE and that will be given to you. And then we know that 27 acres of land was given by the UAE government for the setting up of the BAPS temple, which will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister tomorrow.
Maria, there was this huge sense of anticipation before the Prime Minister actually arrived. There was a huge cultural troupe as well representing different parts of India. So the entire diaspora, and we've got images of them actually now, the entire diaspora really getting together for an India show, as it were, in Abu Dhabi. Would you like to display or describe for us what took place before the Prime Minister arrived?
Yes. So, Vishnu, it is clearly almost like a mini India, which we are seeing here. A concert of sorts which has just come to an end. What was done clearly was that the Indians who had gathered here, significant population also of the blue-collared workers, the laborers, the technicians who travel from various parts of India to work in Abu Dhabi and UAE. So the message again there is that there has been efforts made by India and UAE to ensure that their living conditions improves. That's why grievance redressal cell and other task forces have been established as well. When I spoke to the Indians here, there was a lot of enthusiasm, and perhaps the Prime Minister's speech and the response that they gave was something that they were expecting from the Prime Minister in terms of what he said about the developments that have happened back home in India, the infrastructure projects which are taking shape, how India has become the country which is being discussed in terms of space achievements. He said that which is the country which actually went to the south pole of the moon, and everybody shouted here, Bharat or India. So I think there is this understanding that in the last 10 years of Prime Minister Modi, achievements have been on multiple fronts, and Indians here do talk about how the overall approach of Emiratis towards Indians has seen a sea change, Vishnu, in the last 10 years. And they often say that there is a great degree of respect that is attached to Indians now, which was not there perhaps earlier. It may be a result of the relationship which is shared between the two countries. Prime Minister Modi also highlighting the aspect of how Mohammed bin Zayed was given a grand welcome in Ahmedabad when there was that road show, when both the leaders were there, in Ahmedabad when he travelled for the global Gujarat Vibrant Summit. But yes, Ahlan Modi has come to an end, and I'll ask the camera person to zoom in and show as the crowd now exits the stadium.